What's good, everybody? Today I'm talking about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. In this video, I'm going to feature a bunch of secrets, tips, and items that are hidden in the very opening minutes of this game with Sophie. You don't want to miss out on this. I'm going to run you to each NPC that you want to talk to for these items. So without further ado, let's go ahead and lock straight in. From the very beginning of the area, when you jump down with Gustave, you're going to switch over to Sophie. Once you become Sophie, you can go back and forth between these two characters by punching in the left thumbstick. Now there's going to be over 18 NPCs in the zone. One of those NPCs is going to be this beautiful woman right here in front of these flowers. This is going to be a lore NPC, and the lore in this game is absolutely amazing. You don't want to miss out on it, but that's not the NPCs we're looking for. There's going to be 11 lore driven NPCs and only 7 special NPCs. So this first NPC in front of me is another lore-driven NPC. You can talk to them for a pretty interesting interaction between Sophie and her. But then once you move on from this location, we're going to go into our first main NPC. This is going to be Cryil. He needs some inspiration for his newspaper for tomorrow. In order to have the headline for that, he's going to ask Sophie how she feels. There's 3 different options. You're going to go ahead and pick whichever option works best for you. For me, I picked the option in the middle about the expedition. After doing so, that was what he was looking for, and then I moved on to the next NPC. Just behind him is the next NPC. This is Estelle. Estelle is an amazing person who created this sculpture behind them. Besides the fact that they made this sculpture, they're going to ask Sophie once again for inspiration. All you have to do is tell them to paint this thing, and after doing so, they're going to make sure that they chisel on Sophie's name into this sculpture. Let's move on to something that's pretty cool and a little bit lore based right over here to the left. There's going to be a piano. When you get close to this piano, all of the sound goes out and you can play it. I thought that was pretty cool. However, if you switch over to Gustave, you can actually play the theme music for the zone. To me, I thought that was kind of insane. I wasn't ready for that. But regardless, right after you do that, come over here to the right. There's going to be a couple of wooden, I guess you would say, logs that you can climb on top of. Oh, it's over here on this one. All right, bet. So you want to jump up here, climb over here, and then right over there on the other side, you can hop across and grab this little item right here. If you found any of this information helpful, I would greatly appreciate if you considered smashing that like button for me and sub to the channel so that you don't miss out on all of my other Clair Obscur Expedition 33 content coming real soon. But let's get back to the video. Now, there are going to be other NPCs in the area that you can just speak to get you some extra lore, kind of like these children right here. They would love to talk to you and just, give you some stuff that you probably didn't already know. But just behind them is our next important NPC. This is going to be Richard. Once you speak to Richard, Richard is going to request that Gustave gives his little brother a specific item after the ceremony is over. So make sure that you go ahead and agree to this, and he's going to hand it over to you to hand over to Gustave, who will hand that over to Jules. Once you find Jules, you want to go ahead and give him exactly the item that Richard bestowed upon you, and things will get kind of interesting. Moving on to the next NPC is going to be this wonderful NPC right here. This is going to be Eloise. Now, Eloise is a little bit angry for certain reasons. Story-wise, I'm not going to say anything. I want her to tell it to you for herself. But after you basically hear out her entire conversation, she's going to request that Gustave shows his strength. With that being said, Gustave has to one-shot a balloon. In order to one-shot this balloon, I did an overcharge ability and it was good to go. Now, it did take a little bit of setup. I got my AP first, and then I started to do the strike attack, and then I went straight into overcharge, and everything was good after that. So make sure you get an overcharge attack off and get that damage out so that you can one-shot it. Now, after you finish with this NPC, you could turn around and there's more dialogue that you can listen to between Gustav and Sophie and some other NPCs right over here. From that point, you can come over to this NPC for some more lore bits if you really want it. And I definitely advise you seek out all the different lore-driven NPCs in the zone because it's just pretty cool information that they're, throwing at you. Regardless on what you decide to do in the end of the day, let's go ahead and move on to the next area. This is another lore NPC here, but moving along this path straight in front of me, you're going to immediately turn towards this pretty awesome NPC over to my left. This is going to be the painter. Now the painter needs inspiration. You're going to perform a dance for this painter, and after doing so, they're going to paint you this amazing picture. This is supposed to go into an opera house. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this later on in the game or not, but I'm actually looking forward to possibly seeing this once again. But after you do this entire dance, which is basically a dodge battle with your partner, you're going to be good to go and he'll be able to finish his painting. Now, once this is done, you want to walk immediately over here to the right. There's going to be a glowing trash can. When you interact with this trash can over and over, eventually a voice from inside of it is going to speak to you. The person inside wants you to remain silent about their location because they don't want the paintress to find them, and in order to do so, they're going to give you an item. So make sure that you hold your end of the bargain. Don't give away this location, which I don't think you can anyway, and you'll go ahead and you'll receive a pretty cool item from them. It's going to be a Chroma crystal. Okay, at this point, you should have yourself some lore. You should have yourself a recoat and a Chroma crystal. Let's go ahead and move you on to a music record that you can use at your camp. You want to run straight down this path right along towards this water fountain in the front of me. I don't know if this is a water fountain. Is it a water fountain? I guess it could be if it didn't dry up. Regardless, you want to make your way over here to the right. There's a bunch of NPCs doing NPC things, but right over here is going to be who we're looking for. This is going to be the Mime. Once you defeat the Mime, you're going to be able to not only get yourself a trophy, but a pretty cool item from them as well. I wish you the best of luck. This was actually a pretty difficult fight, and I almost lost it myself, but I was actually able to take it out in my first run, so I'm extremely happy. Regardless, I hope you found all of these tips, tricks, and secrets helpful to you. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button and consider subbing. But we're not done just yet. Just before we leave, I'm going to take you over to a couple of more Chroma that you don't want to miss out on. Right over here is going to be the blue-shirted Victor. He's going to have 2 siblings that you can talk to, but regardless of that, you want to walk straight behind him. Right after you talk to Victor, you want to come right over here and grab a Chroma. And then there's going to be one last Chroma behind the performance of Luna. So I'm going to go ahead and head back a little bit. Back in this other area was going to be Luna. You're going to get some interesting dialogue between Sophie and Gustav. But after you finish that dialogue, just behind Luna, you're going to come up the steps. Make your way just behind the performance area, and right over there should be what you're looking for. If you found this video helpful, I would greatly appreciate it if you smash that like button for me and consider subbing so that you don't miss out on any more tips, tricks, guides, and everything else you need for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This is your boy M of MSensei HD. For now though, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here.